Grow these 11 native superfoods that thrive without water in your garden. The grocery store is running out of answers. Droughts are spreading, water bills are climbing, and the vegetables filling those shelves carry less nutrition than the same vegetables did 50 years ago. Scientists have confirmed this. More water used, more chemicals sprayed, less value delivered to your plate. But somewhere between the cracks in your driveway and the dry hills no farmer bothers with, 11 plants are sitting quietly, packing nutrition that would make your average supermarket green look like wet paper. These plants do not beg for irrigation. They do not collapse in heat. Some of them were feeding entire civilizations before modern agriculture ever existed, and most people walk past them every single day without a second look. Welcome to nature's forgotten world. Wyatt here. If this channel is new to you, hit subscribe right now. We dig into the plants, foods, and growing systems that history nearly buried. Every single video on this channel is built around that mission. Share this one with someone who gardens, someone who cooks, or someone who just wants to eat smarter. They will be glad you did. Here are 11 native superfoods that thrive without water and that you can grow yourself. Native superfood number 1, purslane. That low, fleshy, spreading weed flattened against your driveway right now is one of the most nutritionally dense plants on this planet. Research published in scientific nutrition journals confirmed purslane as the champion source of vitamins A and E among all green vegetables, outperforming spinach, kale, and every leafy green in the produce aisle. A single 100-gram serving delivers 300 to 400 milligrams of alpha-linolenic acid, making it the richest leafy green source of omega-3 fatty acids ever recorded. But the truly astonishing part is this: purslane contains EPA, the long-chain omega-3 found almost exclusively in fish and marine algae. Scientists rarely find EPA in land-based plants. Purslane is one of the only known exceptions on Earth. It also carries 10 times more total fatty acids than either spinach or kale. How does it survive without water? Its thick, fleshy leaves store moisture exactly like a cactus. It thrives in bone-dry parking lots, desert floors, and sidewalk cracks. One plant can produce up to 200,000 seeds in a single growing cycle. The taste is tangy, slightly lemony. Eat it raw in salads, blend it into smoothies, or throw it into a light sauté. Free food from a plant most people are actively trying to kill. Native superfood number 2, black-eyed peas. Most people think of black-eyed peas as a side dish. That framing completely misses what this plant actually does. Originating from the cowpea family, native to sub-Saharan Africa, black-eyed peas evolved across some of the hottest, driest farmland on the planet over thousands of years. Vegetable researchers have noted clearly this plant actually performs worse when watered too much. Excess moisture weakens it. Its roots drill deep into lower soil layers that most vegetables never access, pulling moisture from reserves your tomatoes cannot reach. While down there, they fix nitrogen, meaning they actively deposit nutrients back into the surrounding soil for everything growing nearby. 1 cup of cooked black-eyed peas delivers 13 grams of protein, 11 grams of fiber, and strong amounts of folate, iron, and potassium. A plant that feeds you and improves your soil while asking you to leave the hose in the garage is an extraordinary deal. Native superfood number 3, tepary beans. Half a cup of dried tepary beans contains 23 grams of protein, 56 grams of fiber, 70% of your daily calcium, and 150% of your daily iron. Those numbers exceed nearly every other bean variety you can buy anywhere, and tepary beans grow in the desert on almost nothing. The Tohono O'odham people of the American Southwest have cultivated tepary beans for over 5,000 years. Their root systems spread wide and drive deep. The entire life cycle races to completion fast enough to produce a full harvest on just 2 monsoon rains per season. These beans can shift into seed-setting mode at temperatures above 105 degrees Fahrenheit, a temperature that collapses most crops entirely. When the Tohono O'odham people were pushed away from their traditional tepary-based diet toward processed Western foods, their community developed one of the highest rates of type 2 diabetes ever recorded. Researchers traced the change directly to the dietary shift. The beans they stopped eating had been protecting their metabolic health for generations. As drought spreads across the American West, agricultural scientists are circling back to tepary beans and finding that indigenous farmers solved the water problem 5,000 years ago. Native superfood number 4, prickly pear cactus. Archaeologists found prickly pear remains in ancient jars in Mexico dating back 10,000 years, sitting alongside early corn and chili peppers as among the first foods ever consumed on this continent. No plant on Earth is less concerned about water than a cactus, and prickly pear delivers 2 completely separate foods from one plant. The flat green pads, called nopales, have a mild, slightly citrusy flavor. The fruit, called tunas, lands somewhere between watermelon and kiwi. In Mexico, millions of people grill nopales, dice them into salsas, and scramble them into eggs every morning. Modern research confirmed what traditional healers already knew. Eating prickly pear pads can lower blood sugar and reduce cholesterol, likely due to their soluble fiber and flavonoid content. Some California farmers who gave up fighting drought entirely have now converted to full prickly pear cultivation. Plant breeders in Israel and Texas have developed spineless varieties with larger pads and better flavor. No needles, just food grown from hot dirt and sunlight. If you found this useful, drop a like on this video. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who need this information. And keep watching, because the next one has numbers that are hard to believe. Native superfood number 5, moringa. In the Sahel region of Africa, they call it the never-die tree. After hearing what this tree contains, the name makes complete sense. The leaves carry 25 times more iron than spinach, 17 times more calcium than milk, 10 times more vitamin A than carrots, 15 times more potassium than bananas, and 7 times more vitamin C than oranges. Protein content hits nearly 30% by dry weight, higher than most legumes. A researcher at UC Davis who spent close to a decade studying moringa placed it on any credible list of plants most likely to help feed the world over the next century. The tree grows to 15 feet from seed within its very first year. Every part is edible. Leaves taste peppery like arugula. Pods taste like green beans. Seeds taste like peanuts. Even the flowers are edible. But here is the detail that stops people cold. Crushing moringa seeds and dropping them into contaminated water causes bacteria, dirt, and pollutants to bind together and settle to the bottom within about an hour. Scientists at Penn State identified the mechanism. A positively charged cationic protein in the seeds destroys bacterial cell membranes while pulling suspended particles into flocks that drop out of the water. A 2024 study found that moringa seed powder removed over 90% of bacteria from raw water under standard conditions. A single tree that feeds a family and purifies drinking water, growing in soil where nothing else survives. In warm climates, plant one. In cold climates, grow it in a pot and bring it indoors when temperatures drop. One decision, decades of return. Native superfood number 6. Amaranth. The Aztec Empire built its strength on amaranth. Warriors consumed it before battle. Communities structured entire diets around it. Priests shaped it into ceremonial figures with honey. When Spanish conquistadors invaded, they understood that destroying the crop meant destroying the culture. They banned amaranth entirely and punished anyone caught growing it. It nearly disappeared from Central America for centuries. Small communities, particularly the Mixtec people, kept growing it in secret, hiding it at enormous personal risk. They refused to let it die. And today, scientists call amaranth one of the most climate-resilient superfoods on Earth. It tolerates drought, extreme heat, salty soil, and nutrient-depleted ground, where wheat and rice would fail within weeks. Over 75 species grow wild across 5 continents. The nutrition is exceptional, all 9 essential amino acids in one plant, making it a complete protein. It carries 30% more protein density than wheat, oats, rye, or rice. Rich in omega-3s, B vitamins, vitamin E, and fiber, fully gluten-free. Eat the leaves as greens, harvest the seeds as grain, pop them like tiny popcorn, grind them into flour. To grow it, scatter seeds on dirt and walk away. Communities fought and died to protect this grain. It earned that loyalty. Native superfood number 7, Jerusalem artichoke, or sunchoke. The Jerusalem artichoke is a perennial sunflower native to North America. Plant it once and it returns every year without replanting and without watering. Native American communities cultivated sunchokes long before European settlers arrived, and the tubers became regular trade items between tribal groups because of how reliably they produced. The roots taste like a cross between a potato and a water chestnut. Roast, mash, fry, or eat them raw. What sets sunchokes apart nutritionally is inulin, a prebiotic fiber that feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Unlike regular potatoes, sunchokes carry a low glycemic index, meaning they do not spike blood sugar. They are an intelligent carbohydrate source for people managing metabolic health. One morning, these plants spread aggressively. Give them their own dedicated corner of the yard, or they will claim more territory than you planned. A garden problem that produces free food every year is not really a problem. Native superfood number 8. Dry farmed tomatoes. The best tomatoes you will ever taste receive 0 irrigation after their first month in the ground. Dry farmers across California have known this for generations. When water is cut off, roots push deeper into the soil, fruit size shrinks, and flavor concentrates into something extraordinary. The watery, bland taste of grocery store tomatoes is caused almost entirely by excessive irrigation. Excess water also invites the fungal diseases that can wipe out an entire crop within a week. Plant Early Girl, Brandywine, Black Krim, or Cherry varieties. Water for 30 days from transplanting, then stop. The vines will look rough, the fruit will look small. One bite explains why chefs pay premium prices for dry-farmed produce. Less water, less disease, better flavor. That equation should permanently change how anyone grows tomatoes. Native superfood number 9. Jujube. Most people in the West have never heard of jujube. That unfamiliarity is exactly why it earned this spot on the list, because jujube trees have been quietly feeding people across the Middle East and Asia for 4,000 years and remain almost invisible in Western gardens. Fresh jujubes taste like a crisp, sweet apple. Dried, they become chewy, date-like snacks, concentrated with vitamin C, potassium, antioxidants, and 23 amino acid types not found in most other fruits. Research published in peer-reviewed nutrition journals documented jujube's polysaccharides, flavonoids, and triterpenic acids as having antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective, and immune-regulating effects. In traditional Chinese medicine, jujube tea has been used for centuries to address insomnia and anxiety. Early research suggests antioxidant compounds in the fruit may genuinely influence sleep quality. The tree handles poor soil, brutal heat, and cold down to -20 degrees Fahrenheit. After the first year, it needs water only during extreme drought, otherwise it asks for nothing. A single jujube tree produces fruit for 50 years or more. Plant one today, your grandchildren will harvest from the same tree decades from now. Half a century of food from one decision and almost no water. No other fruit tree on any list delivers that kind of return. Native superfood number 10, mesquite. Mesquite is not a weed. It is one of the most misunderstood food trees in North America, dismissed as scrubland, while its pods contain a remarkable nutritional profile. The pods of the velvet mesquite and honey mesquite, native across the American Southwest, were ground into flour by indigenous communities for thousands of years. The flour is naturally sweet, high in protein, rich in calcium, magnesium, potassium, iron, and zinc. It is also low glycemic, meaning it digests slowly and does not cause blood sugar spikes. Mesquite flour has a slightly sweet caramel molasses flavor that works beautifully in pancakes, bread, cookies, and smoothies. The tree pulls nitrogen from the air and deposits it into the soil, improving land quality over time. Its roots go down 160 feet in some documented cases, deeper than almost any food plant known, which is why mesquite thrives in conditions where other trees simply die. Water rationing, prolonged drought, rocky alkaline soil, mesquite does not notice. Grind the dried pods, sieve the flour, and use it in any baking application. A tree that improves the land it grows on while feeding the people beside it is worth paying attention to. Native superfood number 11, lamb's quarters. Most people who grow vegetables have unknowingly pulled lamb's quarters out of their garden beds and thrown it away. It is one of the most nutritious wild greens in the world and one of the most ignored. Lamb's quarters, known botanically as Chenopodium album, is closely related to quinoa and shares much of its nutritional character. The leaves are coated with a fine white powder and are densely packed with vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, iron, potassium, riboflavin, and protein. Compared to spinach, lamb's quarters carries comparable or higher levels of most key minerals. Compared to kale, it holds its own on nearly every nutrient measure, and it asks for nothing to grow. No irrigation, no fertilizer, no maintenance. It appears in gardens, along fence lines, in disturbed soil, and in fields across every continent except Antarctica. The flavor is mild, earthy, and slightly mineral, excellent raw in salads when young, and excellent cooked like spinach when more mature. The seeds can also be dried and ground into flour, just like quinoa. A plant that feeds people across the entire globe and grows completely on its own has earned more respect than being called a weed. Every single plant on this list shares a common origin story. Each one was shaped by the hardest conditions nature could construct: desert heat, dead soil, crushing drought. And instead of disappearing, it concentrated its nutrition, deepened its roots, and survived. Meanwhile, the crops that fill modern grocery stores require more water, more inputs, and more chemical support every decade, while delivering less nutritional value per serving than they did in the 1950s. The communities that depended on these plants were healthier for it. When those communities were separated from these foods, whether by colonial disruption, agricultural industrialization, or cultural erasure, disease followed almost immediately. That pattern appears across multiple continents and multiple centuries. It is not coincidence, it is consequence. Pick one plant from this list, put it in the ground this season. Let thousands of years of evolution do the work. If this video added something to how you think about food and growing, subscribe to Nature's Forgotten World right now. Every video here is built around this exact mission. Share this with someone who would benefit from it. Comment below with which plant you are starting with. Wyatt will see it. The forgotten world is still growing. You just have to stop pulling it out.